What's up, everybody? Welcome to another friendly episode of Jiu-Jitsu Life with Uncle Mike. This video is brought to you by Cooper's Mark again. Pretty good shit. I never show you guys the label. I'm not sponsored, I just like drinking this shit. Pour yourself a good one. So tonight's topic, let's get into it. Not all belts are created equal. What the hell does that mean? Well, it sounds like it's pretty obvious, right? Obviously, a white belt's different than a blue belt. Blue belt's different than a purple belt. Well, here, let's think about this. What about when you're a blue belt? There's going to be a lot of factors into this, but this came up, so I thought it's a good topic. You're a blue belt, and you get a chance to train with a guy who comes in from another gym. He's a blue belt, same weight. Let's say for now he's the same age. The difference between you two is he competes every other week. Every other weekend he's out in some type of tournament or something like that. Is there a difference now between the two of you? Well, one would say, well, sure, he competes, I don't compete. But technique-wise or technical, we're probably all the same. That's probably true. Until you roll with him. And then what happens is you find out he's able to maybe tap into an intensity that you haven't been able to tap into yet. So even though I'm not really for tournaments per se, but I do enjoy competition. So that might leave you scratching your head. I'm scratching my own head. Like a lot of times I think about, maybe I should be competing, right? I have no reason not to. I have multiple injuries, but that's never stopped me before. But anyway, that's a different story. That should be more of my whiskey talk. So what I'm basically getting at is don't assume because of what this person who competes every other weekend, what he can do to you on the mat means that you're any less than what you are. You're not. I mean, the true art, again, you hear me go back to it, it's about self-defense. In the end of the day, if you are a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, most likely, if you've learned proper fundamentals and you've learned proper technique, you can go out into the street and defend yourself against the average person who might be even twice your weight but doesn't know jiu-jitsu. Change that and put someone into the fact that knows jiu-jitsu, will now skill, athleticism, weight, that does come into factor, strength. You know, the thought that, well, strength doesn't matter in jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter if the guy doesn't know jiu-jitsu. That's very true. I've rolled with guys that are probably 60 to 80 pounds heavier than me, but because they're so much of beginners, they didn't know what they were doing, it was like toying with them, you know? That's a different story. When that guy knows what he's doing, now that's problems. Now that's when, which is awesome that you see now, a lot of these guys that compete are taking it more serious. They're doing strength and conditioning programs. They're weightlifting. They realize the benefit that the technique alone will not win them the match. And plus, these guys are athletic. They train specifically for tournaments and stuff like that. So basically, I guess I'm talking to the guy who's just scratching his head like, what the fuck, man? I'm a purple belt, but that purple belt, he's fucking to the next level. So this is another thing that's really common. And gyms do this all the time. They justify it by saying, well, we're trying to help the competitor's resume, which I can totally understand, right? Is you'll have a purple belt who's legitimately a brown belt, but has never been promoted because he's working to a world champion at a purple belt. Once he hits purple belt world champ, then he gets the brown belt. Even though he could have been a brown belt 2 years before, he probably agreed with the coach, I want to stay the purple belt, so this is what I want, which there's nothing wrong with that. He had a goal. The thing is, though, right, you know where your level is at. Like, I remember when I got my purple belt, I knew at that point, I'm a purple belt. When I got my blue belt, I thought to myself, I'm not a blue belt yet. Now I was a blue belt for 5 years, so I had a chance to become a blue belt, and I had a chance to become a purple belt. So I'm glad it took 5 years, because I needed those 5 years to really first trust my ability to be a blue belt. Then I needed to trust my ability to start becoming a purple belt. But so I guess that'd be considered like sandbagging. You see it all the time. But just remember that. Just remember, there's a lot of factors. It doesn't mean you're any less than what your belt is. If you put the time in and you trained hard, you're 35 years old, you're 45 years old, a 20-year-old who's just got his blue belt, you might have had your blue belt a year, whatever, it might be 2 years. Don't be discouraged if he starts, winning a match against you. It's just you got to take in a lot of factors. There's time. Okay, here's a perfect example. So I rolled last week with a purple belt, who I believe is actually a world champion in his weight division. Wrestler, all that good shit. When I rolled with him, it wasn't like I told myself, all right, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to beat him. I kind of already knew this kid is at a way fucking higher level. This kid could legitimately probably be a brown belt. So what did I work on? He's younger than me. I think he's 20, maybe. I'm 33. Some people don't want to admit that makes a difference. It does, man. Jiu-jitsu is his life. Jiu-jitsu in my heart's my life, but physically it can't be my life. I have other things I have to tend to. But long story short, so and I'm telling you these stories because I'm thinking maybe it will sink into somebody else's brain, because jiu-jitsu, we all know, is very emotional. And if you don't know that, you haven't trained hard enough, or you don't train enough, or I don't know what the fuck your problem is. You're not paying attention. Because jiu-jitsu is very, very emotional. There's a lot of emotions that go into jiu-jitsu. I mean, there's nothing handed to you in jiu-jitsu. You earn every piece of it. So there's going to be nights you go home and you're like, how the fuck did that happen to me? I'm a purple belt. He's a blue belt. Get past the belts. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, man. It's so irrelevant. Get past the belts. I have no problem with a white belt tapping me out. But Mike, you've been training 7-something years. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I fucked up. I made a mistake tonight and I paid for it. I'm not going to let my arm break just because I can't let it happen. I can't let it happen. Man, let it happen. Realize you fucked up and you need to get better. But, so with this kid, I knew he had more to offer, and plus I'm chill mode. He's competition mode. So I'm supposed to rise to a mode that I'm not really used to. It's out of my element most of the time. And that's a mode where he's totally comfortable. So you've heard me talk about it before. So what's going to probably happen? I got probably 13 years on him in age. I'm going to try to compete with a strength that he can do all the time because that's his life. What's going to happen? I'm going to waste all my gas. So instead, what did I do with the roll? Let's be intelligent. Let me see what I can do. Let me see how I can survive. Let me not give him what I want. Because even in, I've talked about jiu-jitsu language. The people that compete a lot, they're very fluent in the language. They expect you to speak back to them. You want to know a way to fucking confuse them? Don't speak back to them. Don't give them what they want. You know what they want. They want you to react. They want you to move. Don't do it. Just sit there like a fucking retard. Don't give them what they want. So that's that. 50 Shades of Belts. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't stress about what happens to you on the mat. Just keep fucking getting better. Make friends with everybody. That's what I think. Don't get butthurt about someone that beats you. Good for you, man. There's a difference in the guy that trains twice a week, and then there's a difference in the guy who trains 5 days a week. The guy who trains 5 days a week is probably going to have one extra notch on his belt above you. He's going to be able to pull shit off just because you're just not doing it enough. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is your journey. This is your process. This is nobody else's. So if anybody gets you down, just wipe it off, dude. Because in the end of the day, this is for you. You're not doing this for the person next to you. You're not doing it for a buddy. You're not doing it for your coach. It's for you. Just everybody around you is all part of that process. Everybody is feeding on each other to help build each other up with positive reinforcement and say, hey, good job, bad job, you fucked up that, you paid for it. You live and you learn. But don't go beating yourself up just because you think, it's just like thinking, when a white belt promotes to a blue belt, he thinks, I'm going to wipe out every fucking white belt. I'm tapping every single white belt. That might not happen. That might not happen. You are at the skill level to be a blue belt, but maybe you're not at the point where you can apply it. Maybe you're not at the point where you can relax enough under the pressure and sit back and wait for proper opportunities to do things. So that's that. This is a shitty topic tonight. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. Got a lot of shit going on. We're 10 minutes in, so if you guys want to shut it off, go ahead and shut it off. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start moving into whiskey talk with me. So what should we talk about, guys? What's pissing you off right now? Anything in training starting to get to you? Okay, so here's something. I automatically can get into a very defensive mode. Okay? So I can easily hit a switch, which I choose not to, which there's nothing wrong with. I think it's actually intelligent not to. But I can easily hit a switch that takes me from Mr. Nice Mike to a guy who I am ready to fuck you up, man. I am ready to beat the shit out of you. Right? And I can do that on the mat, I can do that standing, I can do it anywhere. I can do it probably a little too quick sometimes when I'm just talking to people. Okay, so that's me. So if I'm on the mat with a new guy rolling around, and I feel like he's just being completely disrespectful, a part of me does kick in and says, I'm probably going to fucking make this person pay. I have that competitive, it's anger more than anything, probably, that's in me, right? So does that make my abilities any better? No. Because there's some people, right, who cannot tap into anger. They just can't. They feel like, I just can't get aggressive. Right. Well, guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. People will tell you, well, if you want to succeed, just become more aggressive. You just got to get on it, get up, push, push, push. All the push, push, push is correct. All the getting after it is correct. Aggression and being dedicated are two totally different things. So what someone means to tell you is not become aggressive. What they mean to really be telling you is if you want to win, push for the win. You don't have to get angry to try to win. You don't have to get angry to get better. But also don't be that guy that says, well, I'm going to be such a nice guy that I'll let this person get his victory today and feel good. Well, that's nice of you. Way to go. That was really nice of you to do that for the other guy. But did you really help him? Probably not. Did you help yourself? You definitely didn't help yourself. You just hurt yourself because you have an opportunity to be successful too. There are some of us out there that are super, super talented. And when we roll with certain people, we're like, whew. But then as soon as we roll with different people, maybe that are out of our comfort zone or we're not used to, we kind of freeze up or we don't play the way we normally play. So what you need to ask yourself is, what is it that I do when I'm rolling with the guys that I'm really comfortable with? What mindset do I go into? Like, I notice I'm like that a little bit. The mindset I go into is super playful. I like to joke with people and fuck with people and talk shit. That's my style. You know, because it keeps it chill, man. I can just roll, man. I can have a good time and fuck around. So that's what I do to everybody. Even the guys I'm not really that comfortable with, I do that. Why? Because I am putting myself in a mindset that allows me to be successful. Because if I get angry, if I get aggressive, it doesn't do me any favors. I know how to go from 0 to 100 with a smile on my face just as much as I know how to go from 0 to 100 being pissed off and ready to knock someone's head off. So being pissed off and ready to knock someone's head off doesn't really help me. Because in fact, I've found so many times that when I was really angry, like there was times where I've rolled before, where I'm fucking angry, and I'm just sloppy as shit. You know, I'm transitioning so fast that there's no control, there's no positional control. I'm going for submissions before I even got anything. You know, but it's just because I want to finish this. But if I was a little bit more chill, I'd probably see a little clearer, even though my movement will be just as fast, just as focused. So this little ramble on here is basically for the guy that feels like, hey man, I don't get aggressive. I can't tap into that mad anger mode. Maybe I should compete to do that. No, you don't have to compete to do that. I mean, if you want to compete, do it. But who says you got to get angry to be successful? You know, who says you got to walk around with a fucking fist all the time to be powerful? Oh, man, that's tough guy mentality, man. That turns you into a bully, and you don't want to be a bully. You know? What you want to do is build your own inner confidence. So that's why I said, find out what makes you confident when you roll with the friends you're confident with, and start evaluating that thought process and start putting that thought process in your head. So that way, when instead of you rolling with a black belt coming in and thinking, oh, fuck, this guy's going to wipe my fucking ass all day long here. Just put yourself in that happy place and be like, hey, bro, don't hurt me too bad. And let's just see what the fuck happens, man, because you're going to have fun. You're just going to roll. All right, guys. And that is the end of Whiskey Talk. Hey, you guys, thanks for listening. I wish I had better topics for you from time to time. I think I got some good ones once in a while. Tonight was just kind of put together because I know I haven't spoken to you guys in a while. But feel free, man. Comment, share my stuff on Facebook, share my stuff in the gay and lesbian clubs and all that stuff, you know. And God bless if you're still listening to me. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe. Why do I want you guys to subscribe? Because it fucking helps me get more ranking on YouTube. That way when you search shit, people find me easier. That's why I say subscribe. And a lot of my friends actually have, and I appreciate that. And I really, really appreciate that. But if you're watching this video and you kind of dig at least one or two of them, just fucking subscribe, because you never know, I might surprise you and do something you really like. Here's to y'all. Fuck off.